great experience with catching up with all the boys, going around. As you said, Sam Silvera's doing very, very well at Middlesbrough. Had a meeting with Michael Carrick. Everything is really, really positive about himself, Riley, and Tommy Glover there. So, as I said, I was able to go and watch a lot of the boys play, and they're probably the ones that have been included
Recording
in the squad.
stopped.
They were impressive when I went and watched them play, but also I know that they're fully match fit and they're ready to go against a nation that's ranked, number 12 in the world.
Thank you, Bence. Can we go to? I might go to Joey, but your hand raised, so we'll go to you now.
Thank you very much, Matt. Hi, Arnie. Hope you're going well, mate. Hope you're enjoying the USA. Looking at the squad list, looking down, just the 2 A-League men players in there. Is that, as you've talked about in the past, just pre-season, not enough minutes in the legs, so you've been forced to look internationally?
Mate, Joey, 100%. And probably if I wasn't short of players in those positions, then I probably would have gone down a different avenue again. I don't want to carry on about this. I want this to be a positive meeting, but at the end of the day, when A-League is not playing, there's no match minutes. We're playing against the top 12 nation country in the world. That we need players that are fit and got matches in their legs. And with the A-League not started again, and we've been talking about this for a number of years about how it hurts and damages the September and October windows. And the hardest thing for me, Joey, is having to ring those players and tell them that they haven't been selected and it's not their own fault. It's the domestic league and the structure that we have.
And I guess as my follow-up, I'll be the one to jump on the grenade. Mate, we saw reports coming out of the UK that you've been linked to the Hibernian job and 2 unnamed English championship sides. Would you care to comment on that? Is any interest mutual?
Yeah, look, Joey, it was, I have to say, it was an honour that Hibs rang me and offered me the job, but mate, I've got a job to do here. I will say I love coaching my nation, and I feel that I have a great job, and for me, it's all about Mexico and getting ourselves ready for that, and developing and helping the boys here in Australia.
So just to confirm, Hibs offered you the job and you've turned them down?
I spoke to their owner, yes, and at this moment, the timing's not right. Again, timing is not right, but I have a job on my hands here, and my full focus is on the Socceroos.
Might go to you now, George.
Thanks, Matt. Hey, Arnie. Arnie, you talked about there's a couple of exciting young guys in this squad. You flagged earlier in the year with the China camp you're going over to Europe. You've obviously seen a couple of guys there. I just wondered how things were and what conversations you had with Christian Volpato. Obviously, you kind of flagged in the China window that he was one person you're going to be meeting with, and I wondered how you gone with him.
I haven't been able to get across yet, Christian. The window before was about the match fitness and making sure that the players are ready for this Mexico game. I plan to go after this game against Mexico back over to Europe and head to Italy to catch up with Christian and have a good chat with him and his family, and to see Alessandro Siccardi and Palmer. I know Alessandro is in the squad, but I think it's good that I get across and meet the club and the manager as well. But as I said, it was fantastic, the 2 weeks I had getting around to see, Ipswich play against QPR, seeing what Cam Burgess can do. He's another inclusion in the squad. You can see there that Maynard Brewer's in the squad as a goalkeeper, another young goalkeeper there for John Crawley to have a look at. But overall, the kids are doing well, and I'm very pleased with the squad that we've got.
You just mentioned Burgess, mate. I think he's another Scot you've been able to lure over the line. I don't know if you're going to release an official Socceroos kilt, but maybe that's something we can explore later. I wondered what kind of impressed you, and certainly given Harry's lack of minutes at Leicester, is there a real chance for him to make a statement this window?
Yeah, look, I was impressed with his performance, and we've been watching him for probably about 12 months. And obviously he's done well in that 12 months. I would have picked him for the Argentina game in China, but he was injured and had to have an operation in the off season. So our connection, our communication has been there now for a good 10 to 12 months, and he fully deserves a call up. He's another, and it's fantastic to have another left-footed centre back, 1 metre 96, 98. He's a big boy, physically strong. He's playing at a very good level in the championship with Ipswich.
Thanks, George. I might go to you now, Vince.
Thanks, Matty. Hi, Arnie. Your first window since the retirement of Aaron Moy, who's been a giant for the Socceroos for a long time. How do you see the task in replacing not only his distribution but his creativity in midfield as well?
Yeah, of course, Vince. It's a good question, mate, because Aaron was so valuable to us. But these things happen, and we've just got to move on. Whether we change the system to cover that with 2 sixes, with Aaron playing as a single six, well, but we've got some other players that are working hard and doing well overseas at the moment. Hayden O'Neill, Keanu Backus is doing well. Cam Devlin, Maswawonga, I watched him play, and he was very impressive with Ipswich as well. And he's got that experience, and he's 30 years of age. So these type of players are on the radar. But for this one, against Mexico this week, we're looking at those younger boys with some good experience around them in players like Jackson Irvine and that in midfield.
And one of them I just wanted to ask about, Denny Jonro. I know was on your radar for the World Cup and couldn't make it due to injury and whatnot. Looks like he's had a pretty solid start to his season in France, playing regularly. Probably offers something different to some of the other midfielders in the squad too. How do you see his progression and his chances of being a big part of the soccer?
Again, Vince, he's doing very well. His role's changed a bit. Toulouse, he's more of a number 10 now. And in those areas in midfield, whether it's the 8 or the 10 position or the sixes, we've got quite a few options. We're quite strong in those positions. Denny's obviously doing very, very well in France, and I look forward to seeing him this week.
Thanks, Vince. Tom, Smithies?
Arnie, I reckon it's over a third of your World Cup squad isn't there. Is that sort of point to the regeneration that you're doing? But at what point will you sort of stop that experimenting before the Asian Cup and say, right, these are the groups that I need to work with for Qatar?
Yeah, look, I don't think we're experimenting that much. When you look at, there's been obviously a couple of retirements in Vukovic and Aaron Moy. The older players, well, they've got to keep themselves going. We'll see how far that goes. But at the moment, I'm just focusing on this game against Mexico and the Asian Cup and preparing for the Asian Cup and going there with the expectations to do well for the nation and obviously perform well. So it's, I think the players that we picked fully deserve to be selected, and obviously creating that depth. And the other thing is obviously Tony Vidmar is with the Olympic team, and he's got some good young players there that probably I would have looked at bringing in as well. But they've got a job to do qualifying for the Olympics first.
And Sammy Silvera is, how long have you been watching him? I mean, he's obviously made a splash at Borough, but was doing it at the Mariners before that. And also Alex Robertson, is he injured or anything, or is just left out for the time being?
No, this one, Alex is just obviously he's at Portsmouth. He's getting better and better. I just feel that in that position at the moment, we've got some good depth with Denny Jonru, Riley McGree, and these players. So at the end of the day, it's the selection that we went with. So yeah, it's good.
I'm sorry, and Sammy Silvera.
Oh, Sammy Silvera, yeah, sorry. Now, look, I was watching Sammy, obviously, but the difference is, Tom, he's over there at Middlesbrough, and already he's probably played 10 games. And, by the end of this September, he would have already played half a season in the A-League. So it's, he's doing very, very well. He's playing on the right-hand side at Middlesbrough as a right winger, out and out, very good. I watched him twice while I was in the UK, watched him only a couple of nights ago against Bolton Wanderers, and he's doing very, very well. But, you know, I just think that in the A-League at times he's a bit hot and cold, but he seems to be more performing more at a good level now.
Thanks, Tom. Mike?
Hi, Arnie. A bit of a broader question from me, if you don't mind. Football's obviously been front and centre again over the past month with the Matildas at the World Cup, as it was with the Socceroos in Qatar. What's your sense on how the game can capitalise on this momentum that's been created in recent months, and what part can the Socceroos play in that?
How many hours have we got? But it just shows you that football is the most popular sport in Australia. You know, it really does. And you know, at the end of the day, football's a world sport, a global sport. And when there's World Cups on, the whole nation gets behind. But it's all about what happens after that, and it's up to obviously the organisation and the government to help. And you know, we've been crying out for you know, I've been saying for a long, long time now about the domestic competitions getting in line with the national teams to help us perform better, and but also with the government with helping support us with our home of football. But the game, the sport of football has shown once again after the Matildas that it's a very, very popular sport in Australia, and everyone loves the game and loves the national teams, and it was great to see.
Anything further from you, Mike? You're just on mute.
No, sorry, all good. Thank you. Thanks, Arnie.
Lachlan?
Hi, Arnie. A name that most Socceroos fans probably won't be too familiar with, Ashley Maynard Brewer. Can you talk a little bit about him and what he's done to excite you for this selection?
Yeah, look, I had him with the Olympic team 2022 in Tokyo. He's a very aggressive goalkeeper, but again, it's at this moment in time, it's about John Crawley getting the opportunity to learn and see these younger goalkeepers. It was very hard to leave Joe Gauci out and Lawrence Thomas and A-League goalkeepers, but again, Andrew Redmayne. But again, they haven't played any match minutes at a top, like at an elite level. And Ashley is playing every week at Charlton and doing well. So it just gives us an opportunity for, as I said, for John Crawley to get to know him and see what his strengths and weaknesses are, and that we can help work with that.
Anything further from you, Lachlan?
All good, thank you.
And Raphael? Raphael, are you there? Any questions from you? Doesn't seem.
Sorry.
So
Hi, coach. How do you see the Mexico national team?
Yes, look, they're ranked number 10, 12 in the world for a reason, and they play a very good, exciting style of football, 4-3-3. I've been watching now for at least the last month, and you know, they're well coached, so I'm looking forward to a fantastic occasion with you know, probably 70,000 Mexican fans in the stadium, and we know they'll be right behind them, and it's a great test for us, you know, to combat that on Thursday, this week, sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks. Joey, I'll come to you first with your hand raised. Any further questions for Arnie, just raise your hand, guys, and then we'll go through those, and we'll wrap shortly. Joey, over to you.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Yeah, I did want to ask you about the crowd, Arnie, because, I mean, in Texas, close to Mexico, it's going to be full of Mexican fans. It's pretty difficult to imagine a more hostile crowd than a partisan Mexican crowd cheering on their national team. What sort of test is that going to be for the boys, and what lessons can they take from it?
Look, it's going to be great to see the Mexican wave live. You know, a real one, not a false one. like we do in Australia. No, it's yeah, but look, it's going to be great. That's the purpose of these games, Joey, is and give the younger boys the opportunity, because you know we can strike these type of games in the next World Cup, even World Cup qualifiers, and this is where you learn, you know, with the players who can deal with this these type of moments and occasions. It's going to be a great evening, especially at Dallas Cowboys stadium, which is going to be unique as well for us. So it's going to be a fantastic occasion for everybody.
And just as a follow-up, I wanted to ask you about one player that's not in the squad, probably for good reason, because he doesn't have a club right now, is Fran Karacic. He seems to have left Brescia and hasn't landed anywhere else. Have you had discussions with him? Are you trying to help him find a club? Can you give us an update on what's happening there?
Yeah, look, it's not my job to find the clubs for him, but obviously a conversation I've had with him, Joey, and it's all about, you know, he's off contract, so he's free, so he doesn't have to get things tied up in the next 24 hours before the window shuts. But look, he's looking for a club, and so is Hayden Maristic at the moment. So it's you know, it's up to their agents to do that, but I'm always in contact with them to help if I can.
Thanks, Joey. George?
Yeah, hi, Arnie. Just looking at this list, you've obviously got Silvera, O'Neill. I guess Jordy Boss and Cassini Yengi have both been informed until they got injured, or had, in Jordan's case, had his appendix out. I know players have gone to Europe for forever and a day, but why do you think this off-season has been so profitable for exporting Australian talent to Europe?
Well, I think they're getting the exposure more, and you know, we probably went through a period there that we weren't developing, the pathways weren't developing players, and the opportunities weren't getting there. But you know, Melbourne City obviously doing well, and getting those younger players, giving them game time has helped a lot with those kids. And you know, it's all about what's next for them. And as you said, Jordy Boss, he was obviously would have been selected, but he got appendicitis. Yengi, I had him selected as well, but he got injured with an ankle injury. He's out for 6 to 8 weeks. You know, the kids are getting those opportunities more, and you know, as I said, it's just about playing more if they can, and at a higher level.
Thanks, George. Vince, I'll come to you, and then Vince, and then we'll wrap there, guys. So final 2 questions. Over to you, Vince.
Thanks, buddy. Arnie, the chief vibes officer, is back as a player. Martin Boyle obviously had a rough experience with before the World Cup, and finding out that his ACL was busted, but he's back. Seems to be going all right. It's a bit like a new signing in a way, don't you think, Arnie? How excited are you to have him integrating back into the squad?
Look, Vince, you've got to give the guy full credit, mate. He's, if we look at, he had the operation in November last year, and 9 months later he's back after an ACL, where most players take, you know, a good 10, 11, 12 months. So he's done exceptionally well. He's worked extremely hard off the field to get it done, to get back. He's hit the ground running straight away at the hips. And I'll be honest, I probably 3 weeks ago, I was contemplating not selecting him because I didn't think he'd have this type of games under his belt before we got to this game. But I've been watching him play, and he's doing exceptionally well, and it's great to have him back. And if anyone does deserve anything, it's Boyley, because he's you know, he's committed to Australia. He's obviously caught that injury, but just before the World Cup. The boys love him, we love him, and it'll be great to see him back in camp this week.
And last question for you, Vince.
Thank you, Arnie. One of the players you've left out who is playing and seems to be going well is Jason Cummings. Is that because of where he's moved to, or have other guys like Nick D'Agostino given you a reason to pick them first?
No, Jason's doing well, but again, it's given him the opportunity this game to give players with match minutes in their legs meaningful games, and the Norwegian League has been going on now for about 10 weeks. So you know, it gives, as I said, it gives me the opportunity. Jason knows that he's on the list, and these players, you know, Brandon Borello, exactly the same. These players, the list is getting longer and longer, and that's the purpose of doing what we're doing with with developing, as well as giving players the opportunity for what's ahead of us.